All right, Tuesday, August 11th, 2026. 117, a little late start because of Discord volume. Thank you, Big Daddy, for the help there. All right, heading on over here to the VIX. So what I was saying is, or what I need to be saying is, the VIX is suppressed. The reason that I can tell the VIX is suppressed is the volatility in the market, the up and coming results for tomorrow with CPI, and the fact that we are seeing not a whole lot of motion out of the VIX. Now, when the VIX is suppressed like this and we're down at these lower levels, we can still get that volatility. What we're looking for, though, is the spike, and the spike up for the pressure to catch up with what's already cooking in the marketplace, or the reversal, which is the VIX dies and then the market kind of recaptures something. It's at a hinge point, and this is kind of exactly where we are. We're right in between the 9 and the 20, sitting here waiting for data. Amazingly enough, we have our contract swap tomorrow as well, or I should say midnight tonight. Which will throw the VIX into another tailspin of numbers that will aim to create mass confusion and hysteria. So, big picture here on where we're at in today, because obviously there's been a significant pullback here. Not huge, we got a couple points on SPY. 25 points on ES, but this is all going into tomorrow's CPI news, with basically two formidable outcomes. Neither one of them is horrible, but one of them could be the start of some continuous pressure. And about a month ago and up until 2 weeks ago, I've been telling you that this was a potential hinge day for us to see a pullback. I've left that push out a little bit because I believe the market is actually going to absorb it. But that absorption doesn't come without a speed bump. So we are here on August 11th, right kind of where this thought process started. And here's where I will start to explain to you what I think is going to happen with this anyway. So we get the VIX gets pinned here. VIX will spike in the overnight session somewhat. It will come up a little bit. It will drive ES not too far down, but a little bit in the turn here. We will get data released tomorrow, 8:30 CPI. That data is going to consist of we got four different components that are going to affect this. We have CPI month over month and year over year. Those will be differing. The CPI, if those come in hot, what that means is that the dollar is failing slightly and the need for interest rate cuts will increase. So it's a good news, bad news scenario. The economy is having some difficulty, but the interest rate decisions in the future could be in the favor of the market. In other words, more cuts, higher runs. The other piece of this tomorrow is going to be food and energy, which is going to have a little bit of a differing effect on here, facing month to month and year over year as well. So we're getting two of these announcements, both at 8:30. Thankfully, pre-market on both of them, so we can actually manage ourselves going into the open. The market will absorb these within 48 hours. However, the market can determine direction tomorrow based on these two. So the absorption can be a pullback followed by a recovery to 2/3 of the position and then continue to fall from here, which would put us back down into probably losing around, I don't know, 80 to 90 points on the S&P, and on ES, I should say, or 10 points total in SPY on that before we kind of figure out our conversion there. Or the opposite can happen with a little bit of coming in a little hot. We can get that interest rate thought, and we can push things higher, which would get us SPY into all-time highs and a recovery from this whole drift down that we've seen over the last 2 days. I tend to think the latter is probably going to happen here. I think this drift down is preemptory. I think we're seeing really some lack of strength in here due to low volume, overreacting preparation. We have the 4-hour 9 here. We're going to lose that now. I don't think that we're going to head all the way down to the daily 9 today. That is a possibility, of course, but doesn't it's not on my radar to do that. So, but playing all the scenarios out for you. So the problem being with all of this is how do you handle your, let's say, your swing options into this? Because and we'll get to the names that you guys really care about, but just want to look at this chart and actually let's skip over to those when we do in a second. Let me just finish dissecting Bitcoin and ES, and then we'll go right to the names you guys actually give a shit about. So I told you this morning, losing 63.8 brings us 63.1. This is a probable path. We are on that path right now. I predict we will probably see 63.1 before this recovery here in the overnight session. Then I think that Bitcoin will probably hold its own here, maybe a little dip below, but then it'll push back on up there. ES, so uh, not your typical cascade fall. We had actually some strength in here to try to hold. We just haven't had the volume to make it all work. Look at the volume over here. It's pathetic. So we have nothing here to help anybody in any of these stream positions. That's a good thing too. What that could mean for tomorrow is on a cool CPI reading, we could have a low volume stance, which doesn't really cause a deep negative effect, which is what I think is going to happen here. We're going to get a little bit of some motion down if we go in that direction, but I think we'll eat it back up slowly, but we'll recover, and we're not going to have to lose too much of that. Decision in terms of direction will be made after the recovery begins at around the 50 to 2/3 point on the loss, if that's the direction we go. The more likely scenario, I think, is that CPI comes in slightly hot and the market eats it up because the dollar loses a little value, and we look like we have the potential for some interest rate activity. That at that moment, all eyes shift to the following Wednesday, where we will have interest rate, FOMC stuff. We have PMI on Friday too, so I don't want to discount that all too much. It can definitely give us a little push, but whatever happens there isn't going to matter either. Then we're getting into we're getting FOMC minutes on the 19th, and then Jackson Hole the following week. So lots of big events here in the short term to get us through, and little difficult area to trade. But tomorrow is the big one I wanted to see in terms of what the market structure is going to be. So, yes, telling a nice little story here. Low volume, double top bounce down, cascading flow. Looking for a bottom 7747, lower than I wanted. I wanted us here at the 4-hour 20 and bouncing back 7765. I think we'll see the recovery to close the day above that. That's just a guess at this point, honestly, because we've fallen a little lower than we are. But that's where I guess they probably peg us. Is right above that 4-hour 20, probably right around the overnight low. There. All right, let's. Actually, I know you guys want to cover the Qs too, so we'll do the Qs in the same fashion here. So breakdown on the 4-hour 20. We've got our 8 a.m. candle here, and then our 12 p.m. candle here on the 24-hour. 4-hour 9 lost in the secondary and coming on down here. What we wanted to happen was to retest the China high. We did, and it was rejected. So that candle going in the 4 to 8 a.m. rejected. This is the candle we saw at the start of the day here prior to the market open. This is a 24-hour candle. And we back tested up and rejected down. The 4-hour 9 did not hold, and neither did the overnight session low. So push us down here. Not horrible. Double tops aren't my favorite diagnoses here. It's not a clean one, so it's better, I think, for us. I think we get a better shot at actually getting a better outcome here without having a clean double top. But let me just try to compress this a little bit so that you can see directively where we're at. So here is the trend we want to hold, and can't do this properly because we're on the current candle. But this candle swaps at 4 p.m. So we want to stay up on here. If that is assuming the low is in on this current 12 to 4 candle right here. So if we don't print new lows, that's the directive we want. And then we'll try to push through this going into the overnight, maybe a little bit of back test down below and then push up. It's not perfect in structure here, so I don't love this spot at all. I think it's set up to be confusing for tomorrow. I think that's the whole game, which lends me to believe that we actually end up pushing on a little higher, and that we have positive market news, I should say, not just general news, because it's not. But there's always the possibility of the other direction. We do have supports here that are functional for the Qs. Weekly 9 and Daily 9 are good supports. Daily 9 especially. Weekly 9 is actually negative right now, so we will still get support there. And plus they are clustered, so this cluster is going to give us some action here. Daily 50 up above would probably be our first line of bounce. But again, I think we're here. I think we're going to follow a line like this. Pushing into tomorrow, and hopefully we break out tomorrow above the 728.54. That would be the goal and target. On the daily, looking at this here, looks a little cleaner, so much better chart feel. We broke out of the downturn. We're back testing the bottom of the channel here. See how perfect that channel is? That I slapped together on there. That is exactly where we're at. So what we want to do is we want to bounce off this and then break out of the top. And I think that's, again, I think that's the direction we're in. So let me give you just a visual here. So back test here, push on up, and then if I can do that, there we go. So that's the target for here on the breakout. We may fuddle around on this a little bit because this has been such a strong area. And please don't forget on SPY, same thing. We've been just messing around at this high in this area for quite some time, but it does look strong. So there is possibility there to do exactly what we want. Soxel, all right, this is what you guys wanted. So I gave you the target on the bottom here, the 4-hour 50 here. This is the target we hit. Let me just get rid of my messiness here. So that's the target that held. We need to hold that, bounce on in through tomorrow. That is the goal here. I think we've got a good, decent shot at that here. I don't know why I didn't change my thing here. Go to that. Okay. And so we should be able to go and hold that. Not not having 4-hour 9 support going into this doesn't mean anything. We've lost both RTH and 24-hour. Doesn't mean a whole lot here. Daily 9 is what I wanted to hold here. I also told you it's not giving us a lot of support. That's why we kind of X'd it out. But 4-hour 50. So this is my number here, my line in the sand I expressed this morning. I want that 4-hour 50 to hold. And so far, it's doing its job. We will get pinned there, though. That will be the goal of the market, is to pin us there so that we can stress about this. But honestly, for me, I'm just going to turn it off. I'm going to let it go. I'm not really too worried about the pullbacks. Pullbacks coming down here. We've got monthly 9 support. Should be okay. It'll give us a bounce anyway, and then a decision on whether we want to exit or not these lower levels. We are not going to go lower, which was my concern before. 86.21 is not a number we're going to see again in August for sure. Probably not in September, and I'm not saying we're going to see it in October or November just because of that. I'm just saying that right now, in terms of the forecasting of where we are, we're not going to see those levels. That doesn't mean we couldn't get lower. We could target, I mean, higher. We could target 90, but not in August. August lows are in. And I should say July's lows are in for August already. But if any potential back test, we're probably looking at the 102 range or something like that if that would happen, and then a nice bounce up to take it. But I don't think that's going to. Instead, what I think we're going to see is we're going to see support here. We're going to see CPI come in as expected. We're going to see a nice push out, and we'll see the breakout for Soxel again, and we'll probably get a day or two of a run. Not too exciting because we do have Wednesday next week. Nobody's going to forget about it. It's all going to be there, and I do believe that Wednesday's FOMC meetings are going to be counteracted with actual conversation from Warsh because of his continued communications with Trump. So this is all rigged. This is all what it is. We're going to continue to see some volatility here. If you look at this, this is an upwards consolidation. There's nothing terrible in here at all. Oops, I didn't want to move that because I don't remember what that's for. But let me just draw that upward consolidation on a lower path here. Take this path. So let's take this path here and see. So what we want to do is we want to cross up and take that out. I should just take all these drawings off. I don't want to confuse you guys. You can always go back to the prior videos to look at this stuff again. But basically, um, we broke down from this trend line here, right? Let me just give you that one. This is a clear one, right? 1, 2, 3 points of touch here. Okay, so we broke down on this one already. The question is are we going to retake that tomorrow and ride that up, or are we going to back test and then lose it? And the answer is that the lower ending of the trend line here, you can follow here. You can take a smaller path, and I'll show you why I'm starting there to begin with in a second. And we've lost that smaller path too slightly, but that's created confusion. You can see this line here. I'm going to do it right like this. Okay. Breakout, support, breakout, support, loss, breakout. So I've got 1, 2, 3, and then I've got breakdown, touch, try to recover, touch, breakdown. And again here, see breakdown, support, push up, breakdown, go. So this is a pretty strong area right here too, that 112 line. And that's why I'm able to grab this over here to kind of force us into a kind of a steady run here. So the higher trajectory was lost on the overnight, or yesterday I should say, and then today we have a little bit of lower trajectory which we have just lost, but I think this all fakes into it. Trend is there, right? So we popped on trend again, and I think we need to push up. There's just no volume to support anything right now, and we're going to see all that tomorrow. I mean, the volume is pathetic. It really is bad. So think of how things get affected by volume more than what this is in terms of actually market direction. We've got an uncertain event tomorrow that's going to be a catalyst. It's definitely going to push this market one way or the other. There's no question about that. The problem is that there's really not a whole lot of interest pre-event in the market, and when interest is low, prices dwindle. So that's what we're seeing here today. It's just kind of the drooling out. I'm not saying to buy the dip here because I don't like being at this hinge point right here. It's not a comfortable feeling, but you can see clearly on the daily with Soxel, we are pinned down on this level here too. So daily and 9 coming up on a support. I know I don't like it for this particular exercise, but this does work here, and these are the channels, and it's showing us a very, very clear way to go, almost like a music score in terms of how we're going to handle this one. So I think we push on up and we get into this next bracket tomorrow. That is the hope, but please be prepared, hedge, reduce, whatever. Going into next week, we're going to be looking at the same thing. If we get a nice spike and a run, we're going to want to take advantage of that to reduce or put ourselves in a hedge position again for next week. And after that, we'll calm down, except for the symposium. That's always a shit show. I never quite understood why everybody gets all excited there about it, but that's coming the following week as well. MU, just the same thing. So there's really nothing different between MU, AMD. I'll show you that one too. We're in the same spot. So creaking down, low volume. These things that all the analysts and everybody who looks at this stuff and starts to look for trend, this is what they hate to see. This kind of lopsided entry. So that's kind of the direction everybody kind of figures in. Then we get this market analysis that comes in, CPI comes in, and then we just go in the opposite direction. So if not, then trend will take over, which it does, and it will push us down, and we will see the weekly 20 on AMD. Sorry. So those are the things we want to avoid, and we will need to find support. Oops, we'll need to find support here to do that. But you're not going to see AMD on any actual support level. 469.29 was where I wanted to close. Didn't provide the bounce because there was no volume in the market, and that's really the bottom line. All right, CRDO. CRDO did not give me the range today, did it? It gave me a little bit. We got 237 to, let me see if I get my 10 points. 246. We got it. We got our 10 points there. So still got a 10-point range. Looked a little different today though, as you can see. Not as drastic. I'll exaggerate a little bit there for you. But yeah, run up and then just a smooth run down on that 30-minute 9. So that was the play, is the short up here. But again, this one, like yesterday, wasn't exactly ideal. And plus, when you're stuck in the compression zone and you don't get the big exaggerated moves, they're much harder to catch. Don't try to catch the small ones when you're in compression. Look for the breakouts above or below trend, with trend going in your direction. That'll give you more of a run to actually trade with. Let's see here. Core we've tried to break out today. Look at that stretch. Core we've actually gave quite a performance today. Complete rejection, daily 200. It is a problem with this ceiling. This ceiling is rough for Core we've. No touch, no touchy until we get over that. So 4-hour 370 is the target now. But the floor for this thing is the daily 9. 4-hour 50 will give us a bounce and some resistance. But again, trend is here. We are trying to ride up on this, but we do have prevailing trend coming down too. So this is just a clusterfuck until we get out of this range. Not really worth it. Tesla. Nice little pump today on Tesla. Pushed a little higher, right? We got 336. Back test now, the 24-hour, 4-hour 9. Still in the trend line here as well. Tesla's hit or miss here. I think the goal obviously is to get us above here. I put in here at 336.96 was the first level for clearance here. We looked over this way to try to get it. Again, this is just a tremendous beat down that we got on this falling knife trying to accomplish. We're doing it in steps, so we've taken a couple of these steps up here, and we're about ready for the next leg up. And I think Tesla gets that, so long as the market doesn't dump tomorrow. SpaceX, following my request to fall on itself. Here we go. So that's it. We have to find supports down here. We have a massive set of cluster of supports here. So my short will have to wait until we get through a couple of these pieces here to grow in size. But right now on target here, we're headed down here. Now I will say though, from a straight trend line perspective, it is holding at level here, but I think we break that tonight and see a little bit more action in there. Here's the other disappointment is Apple. Lost its line again. And again, I said to be very cautious here. I do not like Apple at these levels. While we still hold yesterday's low, is we do not create new highs today at all. So we have to be very cautious with the push here in Apple. 304.61 line in the sand. We lose that, we start heading down towards 300. And this one can move quickly, as you all know. Amazon, look at that. I thought it was ready on the breakout. We had the breakout, wanted it to hold, had support coming in here, lost support, went right through the wedge, right down and found the 4-hour 50. Sat there now, open through attrition, right? It's closed that 4-hour on the 4-hour 50, open through attrition under it. So now we have to pile through all these resistance levels here. 4-hour SMAs are still intact. 1, 2, 3. They're spread evenly. This is actually a good area for recovery for that. Daily 9 right below. We will see, but I believe Amazon is actually in a good spot to take this back up. So don't panic here at all with Amazon at these levels. Really just looking for trend to take over before it breaks. We lost the 2 4-hours. We still got the 50 here hold. So we'd like to close this 4-hour candle above, excuse me, above the 4-hour 50, which will give us more room in there. Netflix lost the needle, right? It's doing the same thing it did before. Pushes on over. Daily 9. After that, we go down. So daily 9 is last line of support here, 4-hour 50 in tow. These two levels will provide a bounce, but that bounce will either hold and bring us back up to target, or we will lose that, and then we're head down even lower levels. We'll actually start testing even lower, like maybe in the 70, 69 area range. Let me just see here. Probably this last breakdown here would make the most sense. So what's that? Yeah, about 70, 69 right there. that'll be the level here, or it's just slightly higher into the 71. Either way, losing the 9 is not good for Netflix. This is why I get nervous with that one. Google, I've been working on a couple other things. I don't actually know what the catalyst is that pushed Google down. I haven't had a chance to read up on it yet. And do that research. But we can, we can surmise that trend is lost here. Obviously, 4-hour 9 and 20 gone. 50 holding still at 11%, but turning rapidly. And these 24-hour candles move faster too. So just keep in mind they're not the same as the RTHs we had before. Full on exited this position a while back here from that. So really looking for entries at this point in time. I'm going to move my exit down out of the way. I should probably start making a new set of these, like green for entry. Actually, I'm doing charts for these on all the channels too, guys. So you can go look at stuff there for entries and exits. If you just go into the individual channel for that ticker, I've got charts alongside, or I post them right after the pointers for you. Monthly 9 bounce to the weekly 9. That's your quick play if you're looking for it. So bleed through monthly 9, buy, back test up to the weekly 9, 2/3 of the way, exit your calls and call it a day and see where we end up. Not too much action happening here. We are below key levels here for Google, so we are on a lower trend here going down. This exit line is real close to support. Here it is, lower expansion, 331.19. Yeah, that's pretty clear. So if we lose the monthly 9, we're headed down to 331. Nice quick run. Looks like it wants to do that too, but I think that's all part of the guise for tomorrow. Meta on a run, broke out, right? See that? We broke out. Not only that, we printed a new high for the week, and where else? For the week, for the month. So we got current day, current week high, current month high. Nice. And the 4-hour high. So nice run today for Meta. Broke out of the pennant or wedge. Back tested down and held the 4-hour 200. So off we go. So if this continues to hold this range here, monthly 9 it is. That'd be our next target, which we would do a lot of healing for Meta if we could actually take that monthly 9. That is the target for next Wednesday for Meta. Let's see if we can get there sooner. All right, let's see here. I think that's all that there. 145. So we did have the swap. Let's look over here on SPY. So you can see the swap happened right at the 4-hour 9. It's pinned. You can see the ES is trying to pull a little bit, and you see the VIX dying now a little bit here. But again, this range is very fabricated, so this is going to move wildly later, and then ES will likely get up a little bit higher here, hopefully closing into and above the 4-hour 20, while we see SPY probably breach up to the London low area with a loss of around, I don't know, 56 cents for the day or something like that, if not closer to neutral. That's the plan. All right, guys. I know you guys have questions. You got to have questions. Some of your positions you guys have out there are pretty crazy right now, so I want to make sure you guys are prepared for tomorrow. I am here. If you're uncomfortable asking me on the call, you can just plow it into a ticket and I will jump on it. I am not going anywhere right now. I have time. Otherwise, I'll take your questions.
What I'm hearing you say on Soxel and the chips is that there's a decent chance that tomorrow's catalyst actually moves us up and not down from here.
Yeah,
which makes me want to not get out of my
I don't want to do
all
that
options.
to you either. What I would hate for you to do is to not at least hedge. I don't recall your exact specific details, but if I were to guess, I would say if I were in a very large Soxel position that started somewhere towards the bottom in this range when we all talked about it, I would probably want to reduce that position from 100% where we entered, calling this 100% entry. I would probably want to reduce that down to like 50% here. So that I could rebuy in case it does pop the other way. The opposite happens, I still carry the run, but I don't have as much exposure. That's where I would be on that.
Okay. And for a hedge, I was just kind of glancing at like Friday puts for Soxville at 110.
Let me look at that.
Uh,
You've got 2 weeks here too, right? So we're gonna be in the same scenario next week. Obviously different because we'll know where we're launching from tomorrow. So actually, yeah, treat these as two different trades actually, because if we do pump up, then we'll treat this totally different. We'll actually work our way out of the position this week, and then we'll look for re-entry on Tuesday. Same scenario as this. Pull back prior to Tuesday, go in for the entry, and then hold for the outcome. But we are looking at we're at the 11th, so you've got the 14th, and you're looking what strike for your hedge?
I randomly picked 110, just thinking maybe you could get down that far.
All right, hold on, I gotta
And I was trying to just get some
I gotta
cheap.
tell my broker to do something it doesn't like to do, which is go way out of the money. Let's see. Uh, oh shit, that's more than 50 strikes out of the money too. Where are you going, man? Am I right? Is that yeah, it's a way deep number, but
110.
let me see though. But you're
I
buying
was
it.
just trying to find something cheap to where if
Yeah,
I'm,
yeah,
you
yeah, I
know,
got you.
if
I got you.
if it the chance that it does crash, then all right, they paid off.
Yep, and
It
then
makes me feel better about being way in the red and the
okay,
calls.
I got you. Yep. So those are around $40. And let me look at the price. So, oops,
I think it was like $1.10 or something when I looked at it a minute ago for a
August
one put.
14th
Hmm.
at 100. I'm looking at puts for
I was looking at 110.
110. Sorry, I looked at 100. My bad. Yes, you're correct. Yeah, 110 for 110. And my drop point here is going to be that line right there, which is probably your 112. So yeah, that works. That works.
I think that's a reasonable thing. And then
I
if
do.
if
Yes,
the opposite doesn't happen, it doesn't crash
correct.
at the market open tomorrow, I just sell them at the market open or soon after.
Just
And
sell them at the market. We'll go over that in the morning, and please bring it up if I don't remember. Please just are you available tomorrow morning to ask the question
uh,
or type
I'm
it?
not ever quite certain, but possibly, yeah.
Or at least type it into this channel so I can see it.
Yeah.
All right. Then I will make sure to handle you there, which will be before the market opens. All right.
All right. That does seem like a reasonable thing to do, though.
Yes, I do think so. I think it will pay off for you one way or the other. Maybe get both ends of the stick, which is always fun.
Yeah. We got a little bounce going on right now. What do you think happens the rest of this afternoon if I'm going to trim some calls too?
For Soxel specifically, we've got this. Got this run here, so 4 hour 50. Yeah, I don't know that you're going to be able to time this out perfectly. Here's how this is going to happen. At the last 5 minutes of the close, everything's going to take a little bit of a dump, right? Right before the news. So those last guys that are holding out are going to do it. So trying to time from here to the close on where to exit is really a crapshoot, unless I don't think you're going to make a whole lot of difference. It's not going to spike up from now. Hold on, let me just before I say it, let me just make sure there's nothing in my news cycle that is supposed to come up here before I say something stupid like that. 1 p.m., 2 p.m. No, there's nothing. There's nothing.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, sir.
Don't you love the roller coaster?
Not really, no.
No. You ready to get off? You ready to get off the ship? I got some plans for you.
Ready? Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe so. Not yet.
We'll have to. Okay.
Gotta recoup.
Yep. Okay. All right, man.
All right,
Sounds good. All right. Anybody else got anything they want? All right. All right, guys. I'm going to wind this down and we will shut it down, and I will be available while that's happening. And also, I'll move back over to the floor, too.
If you wanna hit the river, you need to be a rebel.